time. I am so awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we count down to episode 1000, I'm bringing back some of my favorite guests and people, and today I'm bringing back Madilynn Dale, minus my nemesis Harrison.
Because he is going to bed.
That's right. That is so right. That's right. That's why I beat Harrison today, only because it's his bedtime.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes me a powerful supervillain or not, though. I mean, my nemesis has a bedtime. That's how I beat him. That's it. That's generally it. How you been?
I've been good, busy, very busy, but good. Like, yeah. I don't know, like, what day it is at the moment, just because, like, I'm just like, okay, we have this going on today and day, like,
so one day at a time. So I got this from a friend named Sophia Evangelina, and her mom got this for me.
Is it a planner?
Yeah.
Yeah. They work. I have mine. It's the only way I can keep up with anything anymore.
Yeah, I'm at that point too. I'm at that point. I'm legitimately at that point now. I cannot. I have to plan stuff. Like I have more time doing this, ironically enough, but it ends up that most days I have I'm always doing stuff. I have client work too. Like I've been doing lots of client work the last little bit. I got a show. It's about to launch. I'm probably gonna have to push it back one more week just because I'm just not quite there. But the massage therapy show will have. Yeah, it's just yeah. I produce shows. What can I say? I've been doing that for a bit now too.
Sweet. Yeah, I've definitely picked up more on that end too. With Go Indie now, I do a lot more than I used to. So
it happens. You're like, oh, I'm in front of the camera and I'm in town. It's like, no, I can do this all myself. And I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this all myself? Why did I agree to?
It can definitely be overwhelming. Yeah, but I mean, I'm making it through it. So
what's been your favorite thing about it?
Getting to talk with everybody, really, like just the different people. Like I did an interview for Character Driven earlier with kind of like a cyberpunk author. She created her own robot guy and she brought him on the show. I was so excited and so surprised, and I'm friends with her on Facebook now, but like that was one of the most interesting character-driven episodes I've got to record because she had the character we were talking about like next to her physically, and it was just really cool that she built him and brought him on the show, and then we got to dive into who he is, what his backstory is, like what the book is about, and stuff like that. It was just a ton of fun.
I when I do my next book release, whichever one I do next, I'll have to come on your show because I'm going to be doing my version of Alice, or it's going to be my.
Yes. Oh, that would be so fun.
Well, wait till you see what I do with Earn Book 2, because I actually do something really. I already know what the story there is, and it's really fun. Mm-hmm. I deal with her and her Cheshire friend. They have a little come to Jesus moment. They have to in this one, I love my solution. My solution I think is really, really fun. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna be really, really good.
That'll be fun, and absolutely, yes, you need to be on the show.
Yeah,
we'll have to do like another chat about her. So
yeah, no, totally. When I'm ready, I gotta find a replacement artist. Kenzie is decided she wants to do other things. I was just like, you know what? That's
life. So it happens. I get that.
Yeah, I'm going to find someone to replace Ken. I don't think I can replace Kenzie, but I'll try to find somebody at that level. I mean, but I'll try. Right.
It's hard though. Like.
Yes, yeah.
Very hard. Because I actually I had somebody do some character art for me. They reached out to me and were like, hey, can I try to do this for you? And I was like, okay, like, yeah, let's see how this goes. And I was okay with what they came up with. Yeah, it was neat, but like not what I expected. Like I was expecting more, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Like good more, bad more.
Better. If that makes sense. So
yeah, well, no, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Like you have to with a creative project, you kind of find the right people, and that's a lot harder to do. I've been very fortunate by and large who I've been blessed to work with. So, but no, it's been creatively I've been on this very wild journey, and it's been good. It's been cool. And so have you. I read your book. We talked about this. We talked.
Oh yeah, Black Flames. I was like, wait, which one? And I was like, oh yeah, now I remember.
I read it. No, I read
talk about it. Yeah.
It was the first book I read this year. You have an amazing imagination. I'm going to just say that straight up. You have an incredible imagination. It's a lot of fun. You gotta make your bad guys smarter. That's the only
I know that was something I'm not good at bad guys. I was like, you know what? I need to start researching how to write them better because like that's true, and that is an improvement area for me because I don't know. It's hard to put my mind in their perspective, if that makes sense.
So here's my theory. So we'll see if I'm right or if I'm on something or if I'm onto something. We'll figure this out. Okay. I think you enjoy giving your bad guys the comeuppance, right? You enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much.
Probably.
Yeah. So because the tendency with so did you ever watch Power Rangers as a kid?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
So I'm going to use the example of Bulk and Skull. Okay.
Oh gosh, yes.
Right. Bulk and Skull.
They're so silly though. So.
No, but there's a reason for that, right? There's never a tension moment with either of them. Hey, Anita. We're about to talk Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Anita. So we're specifically Bulk and Skull, the bullies, right, of the show. And the thing is, right, they're not to be taken seriously. They're designed to be comic relief. They're silly, they're stupid, they're petty, they always get in each other's way, they fight and they bicker and they're fun to poke fun at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they always seem to find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time too.
Exactly. So. Now here's the thing. Could you ever see them fight the Power Rangers?
No.
No, why not?
Because it just doesn't make sense.
No, it really doesn't. But why doesn't it make sense?
Because they're just two regular people, and those skills all.
I think a regular person could be an interesting villain for the Power Rangers in the right circumstances.
Yeah.
But the problem in this particular case is, see, Bulk and Skull, you can't take them seriously. And because you can't take them seriously, they're not a credible threat to any of the Rangers.
Yeah.
Right? So
that does make sense.
Right? They're not credible. So the only problem I really had reading your book was I could not feel, because Prospero was a dumbass. That's just the next thing is, like, he was dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
And he continues to be one in book 2, only he's there briefly. Very briefly, he makes an appearance in book 2.
Yeah.
Book 3, he's going to have more.
But so if you're going to, so the thing is, if you made him a little smarter, right, you could have had him be a little bit more of a bastard. And the thing is, if the bad guy is a bastard, okay, a genuine, so, okay, I'll go with my own story. Jason of the Argonauts was my villain. But but thing is, you took him seriously. Why? Because look at what I had.
He was a giant a-hole.
He was a giant asshole. Yeah. But he was also very like he was very deliberate with what he did.
Yeah.
He tormented his flamingo. He tormented it.
That is true.
I remember, right? So he was a vindictive, mean son of a bitch. You wanted to see him get his ass kicked, but you were a little afraid of him too. And that was the point, right?
Yeah.
You didn't let Prospero be the devil he should have been.
That's true. And I kind of wanted to give him this quality of, like, he's so convinced that things are going his way that he is oblivious to, like,
there are some things that are oblivious, but I've been in relationships. I can usually, like, there's just one of those things. You can usually tell when people are getting around a little bit. Like, you can kind of tell. Right. You can kind of tell.
Yeah, Dan Emperor definitely was. Yeah.
Oh no, Amber had a lot of fun in book 1. I'm sure she's going to continue to have fun in book 2 and 3 as well. But that's fine. But the bad guy has to be smart about it. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I know what you're doing. I'm going to make life difficult for you. because the more difficult the bad guy makes it on the hero or heroine, when they win or if they win, it feels that much better when they do. The best, like you have to, like bad guys have like again, it depends on the kind of like we're going back to the Vulcan skull example. Sometimes you just want a little comic relief, and some bad guys you can actually and bad right, but good bad guys are people you can kind of relate to. You can understand kind of what they're doing.
Yeah,
but they're just horrible people. Like just generally horrible. So I'm doing an evil version of the Knights of the Round, right?
Yes, you told me. I don't think I've read that sample you sent me yet because I've been
So I just wrote a chapter with Galahad, right? And I made Galahad a woman first off. Second off, I made her a monster. The idea I have in the first book is I want to like my main character was a monster or is a monster. I'm gonna let you decide that yourself.
Yeah.
But what she was around is absolutely terrifying. Everybody that she's worked with, she feels no matter what kind of shit she's done, she's more human than they are. And that's because that adds a level of terror. I have an eyeball scene. I'm gonna say that there's an eyeball scene. It's one of the shortest chapters in the book, and it's an elevator ride, and there's an eyeball involved. And when you're done that, you'll be like, oh my god, who the hell is she working with? And that's the idea, right? Because now you're a little scared of this person, right? She's a little scared of this person. You can understand that fear. How the fuck is she gonna deal with this? Right? Right? That's the pathos of it, right? That's the real pathos of characters.
Was there gouging involved too? I don't know. It's a creepy eyeball.
No. Actually, Anita, how the eyeball got there, I leave entirely to your imagination. But I'm going to tell you this: the gouging is actually being kind. That's all I'm going to say about that. Right. So that's the thing, right? You create this that's the thing. The villain has to create a presence, right? That's the real secret to a good villain is now again, villain doesn't have to be smart, although it doesn't hurt. The villain doesn't have to be mean, but it doesn't hurt, right? But the villain has to have a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Prospero was a dumbass. That's why that was the thing. Like he was too dumb. I didn't feel like he was a match for Amber in any way.
He's not. I mean,
but you had to make him that's the thing. Like you didn't give her enough of a challenge. You let her off too easy. So you got to push her because by pushing her, you bring out her best or her worst, depending upon how you look at it, right? And the bigger
definitely challenged more on things in book 2 because a lot happens.
Yeah.
So not as much as what's gonna happen in book 3, but because that's when everything is gonna. So
that's okay. But I'm just getting this across to you, right? Right. I will just say this as far as some of the extracurricular Amber does, based on how you described her daddy, she takes after her old man quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're her mates, though. I mean, okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's the genre, so right?
It's okay. Like I said, you read my review of it. I was pretty, I think, fair. I think I was fair, right?
You were, and it was, So, and I mean, was your favorite scene the shower scene too, though? Because nobody's let me live that one down yet. So.
It's always amazing to see. Here's the thing: like as far as sex goes, like guys have a very simplistic imagination about that as a general rule of thumb. Women, you got us beat. Like seriously, you have us beat. Like it's like I'm not even gonna like pretend I know what goes on in there to the same degree. I'm just not even going to pretend. I just know that it just doesn't. Right. See, my favorite scene. That was definitely that definitely got my attention. But let's think about that here. My favorite scene in there. Actually, my favorite scene was actually when she came back.
Yeah.
That was my favorite scene in there because she was a very, you could see the difference to where she started and where she was. When it started, she was very much a small town girl. I've met small town girls just like her.
Yeah.
Right. She's not a small town girl anymore.
No.
Right.
She's not.
Yeah. No, she's something else, and she's going to come face to face with that. What that legacy means in books to come.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot more. It's a lot. So
yeah,
right. Book 2. I'll have to send you book 2 because book 2's been fun. Like it's Blue Flames, guys. Book 2.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah,
it was.
We'll promote that at the end too.
Oh yeah, sorry. You know, I got
It's okay.
I mean, I actually have my own office now, so it's like I just get a little excited to post promo stuff. Blah, you know.
Well, I have my own office for another 2-3 months, something like that.
I mean, it's it's part playroom, but I mean, I'll take it. So.
Well, this is I'm living like kind of like a community home for the time being. It's been great to kind of rebuild and figure this stuff out. And like I said, from a client standpoint, it's been like this has been a good place for me to learn how to go into business for myself. And
and you're fixing to start traveling, right? A lot.
August is I was hoping for May. It's still not out of the realm of possibility, but I have to get a butt ton of clients between now and then to make that absolutely happen. But by August, I should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manifest it. It's gonna happen.
Oh, I don't doubt. No. Here's what I've learned. I've learned this. Like the exact time you want it, it almost never happens. But I do like if you keep going, you keep making things happen. I got since we last talked, I got a ghostwriting gig for a publisher, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's a blog. It's not like a big, but it's like I got a ghostwriting gig. I do a video editing gig. I do that next week for another client. And on top of that, I got, and I'm again doing massage therapy. Those have been my 3 regular clients. So I have 3 regular clients, and I got another advertising client I'm working on this month. So I'm actually thinking about raising my rates on my advertising business because here's the thing.
If you're getting busy, like.
Well, it's not even getting busy. People are buying the most expensive one, not the cheap ones, the expensive one. So that's been So I went last night, like 2 nights ago. The client I currently have, I told, like he wanted to come on the podcast to do multiple interviews about all these different projects he had. It's like, well, I don't mind interviewing people, but I only have so many of these left at this point. So it's like I'll interview you free once, but I mean, if you want more, then I'm gonna do an advertising. So he goes, "Hey, you do advertising?" Sent him this. He bought the most expensive package on the spot. It was like that, and so and like I said, Jane also bought the most expensive package when she came on. And it just made me, and it's just like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should just go, I just should go high because it seems to me that the people that really want to go all in, just go all in. And everybody else, if I give them like this price, it's not quite like what I think is a reasonable entry point. They're like, GUMA. So I might as well just get rid of the GUMAs all the way around and just go, hey, you know what? This is what's going to cost.
I mean, it's worth it though, because I mean, it works. So
yes, yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Anybody listening to this, I'm about 2/3 serious about this. If I do make this decision, by the time this episode airs, I'm as an audio, I might just do it. So just letting everybody know that. So yeah, it's just been the way it's been, and it's like, okay, cool, like, but but it's so I've been, like I said, I've been busy. I'm like I said, I want to make this more regular. I feel like I'm missing a piece, but if I get that one more steady piece, I'm pretty much on the road for like as soon as I can.
Yeah.
I get my U.S. citizenship renewed again, like my passport renewed in the States next month, and then I look for a state to get a driver's license in. The beautiful thing about your country is, depending on the state, it can be really, really easy or really, really hard, depending on what state.
That's a curious one, though. Like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. It's a wonderful. No. So the easiest states to get a license in the United States are South Dakota. Washington does not require you to live in the state to get a license. And there's a couple of states that don't even require you to live in the country to get a license.
Wow.
Yes. God bless.
I did not know that. That's.
God bless America. That's all I gotta say. God bless.
That's crazy. So
yeah,
where do you want to go first once you start traveling?
It's gonna be Vancouver first, California second. I got a lot of contracts still out here, so I don't want to. I'm probably going to be in Western United States or Western United States primarily. I'd like to go back to Detroit, see my family. I didn't get to see my grandmother during the pandemic, and it bothered me quite a bit that I couldn't because of that imaginary line. I want to amend that. So I want to do that before things get really, really out of hand. And then, I got everywhere. Like ultimately I want, like for me, it's like I said, it's been about adventure. It's about adventure and connection. And I've met a lot of amazing people along the way. Why wouldn't I want to go see them in person?
Yeah. No, I feel that because I kind of want to do that, but I'm not there yet. Like in the future, it's going to happen. I may not get to travel as much as I'd like to, also because like it's exhausting sometimes for me to like with everything else we have going on here. But like, I definitely am going to travel more. So
what is everything else going on with you?
Well, I have a blog now officially. Well, okay, I had a blog, but like it's that I'm using it more and posting more, and actually finally got it monetized. Not making a lot yet, but. Yeah, it's up and going. I'm doing my interviews still, producing shows for Go Indie now, like 2 live no, technically. I'm doing a lot for This Week in Indies, Talking Indie Mayhem, Character Driven, and then we're doing town halls like once a month. So that's been a lot of fun too. Harrison's in pre-K, where soccer was supposed to start up today, but it was too cold, so they canceled. But yeah, just like all that keeping me going with all the writing stuff, because I have a goal to get 6 stories / books out this year. I already have 2, so I'm on my like path, because I also have short stories and 2 other anthologies that are set to publish this year as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep trucking.
So you're gonna become this uber successful like mom writer. That's the thing.
Hopefully, I'm getting there.
Oh,
stuff to learn and stuff to like write, but like
there's always stuff to learn, stuff to write. The biggest thing I've learned in this life, if it's people in general, it really comes down to what you do, right? That's all there is to it. Making good on the opportunities that do come your way. I posted the inspiration for the day was the idea that when a good thing does come your way, you do good with it when you have it, so you can get more good things to come your way. I think honestly what it comes down to for most of us is a lot of us throw away those good things when they come, and that's usually why sometimes it takes a long time. Again, we all do it. We've all done it. I've done it. I think we all do it. But I think the people that really are successful just realize, hey, I have a great thing and I want to just go with it as long as I can. And I'm going to do whatever. Like, I don't care what my imposter syndrome says. I don't care what any of that crap says. I'm just going to do it because this is what I want. And I think people that do that the best are the ones that win at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I actually like kind of had a moment of like coming to clarity about how serious I wanted to get on this. Because after I went to Multiverse last year, I was like, I'm going to start doing conventions in the next year. That's my goal. I'm going to get on panels. So I went to Cosign in Colorado Springs last month. Got to hang out with Adam Gaffin and his wife Mickey, and like we got to talking about stuff and everything there. Mickey's a life coach. Had some challenging questions and stuff that like made me think about, do I really want to go ahead and just like do this and like make it work, like throw everything into it? I was like, I had to think about it for like a little bit. And then of course I had to talk it over with my hubby, because like I can't just throw away the things I went to school with for like just out of the blue and be like, oh no, we're not going to renew my license and stuff, but like for therapy license. But it is renewed. But I'm headfirst into this. Like I'm going at it like with more determination, more motivation, kind of like that stuff. And it was just like after talking with them and being at the convention and like meeting a bunch of new authors, and like, not that I don't regularly meet new authors, but it was just like another eye opener to like, I can really make this work for me.
What did they ask you?
She was like, it's kind of like what's holding me back kind of stuff, like those kind of questions. And I was like, we just sat there and talked about it, and just like, it was just a fun conversation. So
I'm going to ask this. What's holding you back? If you don't want to tell us, say it. You don't have to.
I guess part of it was the fear of not like being successful. And I kind of still had that lingering fear from like letting people down. I don't know why that was still a thing, because I've been slowly getting away from that. But I was like, why am I worried about that? Like, this is my family. This is my life. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to make it work for us. Like, it's not like we're just going to, not like I'm going to put our family and finances on the ground. I mean, obviously, that's a lot of fear for people. But I thought that over, talked it over with Chris. I'm like, we can do this. Like, we can do this. So, and that was kind of a lot of it. So, and then, letting go of like all the stuff I went to college for, lovely student loans that I have just hanging out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as that goes, I say it like this: you wouldn't be the first to do it. I mean,
I know, that's true. It happens more often than not.
So actually, it really does. One of the things so in Canada, we have people from other countries come here. They're more educated in some cases than we are, depending on what part of the world they're from. You know what they're doing? They're taxi drivers or servers or people that they went to school for these big jobs, and they almost have to redo it. And it's one of those. It was one of those eye-opening things that's just like, this whole process we have to make people succeed. It's not all it's really cracked up to be.
No, it's not. And honestly, like, I got to think about it. I kind of felt like I was stuck in a cage doing it, because I felt like there was this box. Like, I had to work within this box. There was no room for things outside the box. I couldn't enjoy like my creative endeavors or anything. Like the stuff I'm doing now, I wouldn't be able to do because I'd be so exhausted and worn out from working as a physical therapy assistant. And I wouldn't like, so, and it was also affecting my mental health. And that's part of like, I think part of the area I was working with, it was the older population, and some of them don't exactly make it out of skilled nursing facilities. And yeah, so it was just rough.
Well, there's burnout.
Not that I didn't enjoy it. I love working with them, but like it just, when I can do something I enjoy and love, creating things from my imagination, I'd rather do that, because it also frees up more time for other things that I enjoy in life.
Well, yeah. But no, like let's just take a little bit deep. Like I think the biggest thing is I realize is that the 2 generations prior to mine, they had a certain way that they did things, and it worked ish for them. Ish, we're going to say ish, right? My dad's generation kind of went in between that. And my generation and your generation and every generation that follows us, we don't have those same guarantees. Like the big reason why a lot of them went the way they went was because there was this light at the end of the tunnel. And if you sit there and think about it, it's a little batshit insane. Why am I waiting until 65 to enjoy my life?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
It's batshit.
I don't want that. Like,
no.
Yeah. I want to enjoy it, and I want my son to enjoy it. Like, I want us all to enjoy it. Like, be happy, live life as our family, enjoying it, not killing ourselves because we want to have excess money and live in like this super fancy like house or whatever. Like, it's okay to like be like a minimalist, I guess, is kind of like what we go for. Like, minus my books, we just won't talk about the book. I mean, you don't have to have big fancy houses, big anything to be happy. You don't have to have a crap ton of clutter.
I'm just going to show you real quick. See, I have a comic book problem. See?
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No. There's nothing. No. There's nothing wrong. Look, here's the thing. Little joys in life, we all need them. I'm not gonna say we don't. We don't. But the truth of the matter is, like the whole work for the house, the car, the giant lot, the magic retirement, and the painkillers and drugs that come with it at the end of the tunnel, right? If you really sit there and think about what that deal is, it's really a crock of shit. It really is a crock of shit. We're all entitled to like a better deal. Now, again, I'm not knocking anybody that's like, hey, listen, I want to take care of my family. Hey, but like, I'm not knocking any of that. But it's what it comes down to for me. I think for a lot of people is we just realize that like this is a bad deal, and by the time we get there, that deal isn't even going to exist. It's going to be something worse in all likelihood. I mean, why am I doing what I'm doing now? I'm free to do what I want to do, and I'm like, well, I'm going to enjoy my freedom. I'm going to find kind of where I feel I fit. Right. Then maybe I start doing that family stuff at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it'll come to you when it's time. Like it's
exactly. And I'm not going to worry about the big grand scheme of things. I'll be, like I said, the beautiful thing about the last 3 years, I've learned an awful lot about making money for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of like, I know I'm only like touching the iceberg portion or the tip of the iceberg that didn't come out like I wanted to, but like, just, I don't know. There's a lot. Yeah. And just like talking to you and others who have been at this longer, like getting advice and tips and just thoughtful things. It helps me grow too, but it's a doable thing. It's not easy now. Nobody's saying that, but
no. The hardest part of this whole fight, like honestly, is that belief in yourself. Mm-hmm. That's what like this is so much a game of what you believe you can accomplish. That's honestly, I say that's the hardest thing, because you're going to be dealing with no's and ups and downs and disappointments and things you thought you were in the bag and then they're gone. And it's such a wild ride that way. On the flip side, the people that are really into this are doing great at this, that they'll push you too, and they'll encourage you. So I regularly have lunch with an author by the name of Susie Vidoria, or I shouldn't say lunch, coffee. We have a coffee once a month, every month. Yeah. We meet, we just hang out for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And she's got her own business in this. She coaches people with like making stories better. She's turned it into a 6-figure business. Like it's not impossible. So I'm around people that are doing this and doing this well. So it's like, I can get there too. I have my own challenges, but I can get there too. It's just, again, getting belief in self, getting people to invest in you, to prove that belief, and then it's a constant process, and that's it's a lot of work. But if you get to a certain point, you will get your freedom. And once you get your freedom, like, yeah, you know what? I may not make what some people make. Then again, I may make more, who knows? But here's the thing. I'll be free to work anywhere I want. So I could be literally on a beach somewhere, right? Like learning how to surf and while doing this, and hitting on women half my age, it'll be great. It'll be totally a fun thing. And I could do that. It's possible, right? It is totally in the realm of possibility, and that's the thing. But that belief to achieve that is one of the biggest hangups a lot of people have. Like, can I really do this? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Are you willing to bust your ass? Are you willing to bust your ass to get there, though? That's the thing.
Yep. Your nemesis may run in here in a second. We'll see.
No worries. I expected this. I expected this. He's coming to say goodnight. He's going to see what mommy's doing. He's going to want to be the center of attention. And it's like, my nemesis is going to take over my show again. No, I actually joke. I actually joke because now I've joked about this a few times, like how he's held the show hostage. Like where you stand in the universe when a 3-year-old can shut your show down, right?
Well, now he's 5. So, I mean, it's crazy because, like, That's cool. So he just turned 5 last month.
Happy birthday, Mr. Harrison, to my nemesis.
I know.
No, if I meet him, he's like, "You're my nemesis." He goes, "What's that?" It's like,
he probably will.
Yeah.
But if you relate it to a bad guy, he might get it. So, because he likes his superheroes.
He likes the superheroes with
and we've been reading the kids' version of comics. Like, he has officially, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Like the Cat Kid Comedy Club, Dogman, the bad guys, like they're all like kids' version of comics. Oh my god, he's obsessed with them. It's so cute.
Yeah. So comics today I could actually recommend some Kickstarter books like he'd be into, actually. Like
probably.
Some books, I could probably recommend a few of them. Buddy of mine's doing a Kickstarter this month, and it's animal. It's almost like animals in it. So it's almost like the Pitter Patter. It's Rodney Fike's Pitter Patter. I don't know if you've seen Mr. Rodney on my channel.
I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a comic that would be perfect for Mr. Harrison, right? Not all his comics, mind you, but he's got one that would work. I think. And I have another, a dynamic duo, Steph Cannon and Matt Knowles. They do a series called Misfits Clubhouse, and it's that's it. Harrison can read that. He can absolutely read that. So. So there are definitely things I can recommend. Now I can't recommend, like, I want to recommend even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but he can't read the one I'm reading. It's a little too mature for him.
He's watched like a cartoon version of it, but not a lot of it because he's not quite there yet. But he has watched Power Rangers, like we started with the old school Power Rangers. And he's watched some of the newer, like Power Rangers Dino Fury, which is on Netflix now. He's watched a lot of that too. So he's definitely got the sarcasm. That comes from his father and his Aunt Haley, which is my sister. We blame her for the sass.
Oh, okay. Hey Joe, how you doing, buddy? But no, like we're talking. Actually, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has been a quiet sub theme of this episode because I used Bulk and Skull to explain bad guys, right? So, but,
Joe's the one that says his favorite scene is the shower scene in Black Flames. So
he totally would. Right? He totally would.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna love his comics for sure.
Yes. So, hey Joe, how you doing, buddy? No, it's no. I mean, I think it's cool that like he's growing up, and it must be both like it's like time has going so fast on one hand, but on the other hand, on the other hand, it's like every day is an adventure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So has he done something where he's like, he got that from me, and I know he did, and this is God's way of punishing me?
Yes, a lot of things. Oh, yeah.
Is there one you can mention that won't embarrass him years later when he listens to this?
I don't know. Let's think. Hold on. Oh, he definitely acts like me. Joe.
I can only imagine the rolling around in blue flames in the gym scene. That's okay. That's neither here. That's neither here or there.
Yeah. Gosh, he's done so many things that are definitely like me. And I'm just like, great. Oh gosh. Like climbing on things and just like being totally like, I'm just gonna just jump or do like whatever, just do it, Mom, or trying to climb on top. Well, okay, I say trying. He successfully climbed on top of his playhouse and then on top of the swing set outside the backyard on a warmer day a couple weeks ago. And it's just like, oh no. So
did you know how to get down?
No fear. He did. Well, actually, he argued with me about it. But I was like, no, you got yourself up there. You got to figure out how to get down, which is exactly what my mom told me when I did stuff like that when I was a kid. So, but this also led to her completely trusting me for things like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but we were at Girl Scouts and I had to climb on the roof, like up the side of the building and onto the roof to get something off of the roof that ended up there. And I was maybe like 9-ish. And everybody's like, you're going to let her climb up there? And she's like, oh, she'll be fine. She climbs on stuff all the time. So, I mean, yeah. So
you're not scared. So you're not scared to death?
Not with that. But if you put, I don't know what it is, but anything higher than like 2 stories, it's a little more nerve wracking. Because growing up, I'd climb to the top of trees, like no problem. But you put me like on the balcony of a super tall building, nope, I can't get close to the edge. I'm just like, I'm just gonna stay way back here. I don't know why, but yeah. So
yeah. You know, falling is a good lesson, though, Joe. It really is.
Yes, it is.
But then again, depending on what he gets from her, it'd be like, ooh, that was fun. Let's do it again. And you'd be like, oh God, yes.
There are some falls I was like, nope, not doing that again. So
it depends on the fall. It depends on how far and where you land, right?
Yeah.
I used to. I didn't do very much. Every once in a while, I would climb a tree. Every once in a while, and I enjoyed it. Like you, buildings were not my thing. Like buildings are just not.
I just know.
Yeah. It's the fact. Okay, so it's the fact that trees have like almost like a pathway kind of built into them.
Yeah.
Whereas a building is just this like surface, and you're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this surface?
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, like the pathway and being able to like have handholds going down or up. Like it just, so.
Surfing's fun. I was never much of a skater, but I definitely am going to be doing the surfing thing for sure sooner than that's my goal for next Christmas. Because currently is minus 27 degrees Celsius here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Don't want to do the calculation.
It's about the same.
But it's cold.
No, it's about the same. At that point, it's about the same. Once it gets to a certain point, they're the same, right? So it's close. It wouldn't be if it's a little bit. It might be something like minus 25 Fahrenheit. Like that's how close it is. So yeah, that's how close it is.
Yeah, no. They canceled soccer practice because it's supposed to be 39 today. So Fahrenheit. And windy. So nope, pass. But I'm like, nope, I wasn't gonna take him if they had it. Cause that's why I was like, I sent out a message. I was like, are we still using this group for the spring session? They're like, no, but soccer's canceled tonight. It's like, okay, I'm okay with
39
that.
degrees.
It's cold.
39 degrees.
It's like the wind chill makes it colder, obviously. But they're 5-year-olds and like standing out there on an open soccer field with the wind blowing like crazy. We're not that dedicated yet. So, maybe in the future.
See, I'm up in Alberta right now. So in Alberta, right, so our winters, like, okay, so this has been a mild winter, all things considered, but we usually get 2 really bad weeks of cold. The first one was in December. We actually went down to minus 46.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually went down that low. But then the rest of the time it's been around. So to put this in perspective for you, it'd be about anywhere from like 25 to 40 degrees Celsius, like Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Right. That's where Fahrenheit, folks, not Celsius. Because if it was Celsius, it would be like 100 and like something. But yeah, 25 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's been our winter, which for us is really mild.
Yeah.
Right. So this week is our second cold week. It got down. So tomorrow it goes up to -17, which I think for you guys is about probably -10, right? Tomorrow, but then after that it goes back up to the 30s. Right. It goes back up to the 30s.
Still cold, but like
no, it's not. No.
When 30 it's Celsius is Yeah.
So. Yeah. So no, so here's the thing, right? Like with us, see, 32 is not cold. 39 is not cold. 20 is not cold. 10 is not cold. It's when you get to 0 and minus. Right. Well,
zero Celsius is equivalent to 32.
That is correct. That is correct. We don't in Alberta, unless if it's less than -10, it's not cold.
Yeah.
All right. If it's less than -10, it's not cold. That's just the way it is. Because of just how the weather is. Now we're going to be dabbling between 25 and 35, 25 to 40 for like the next week. After this, next 2 weeks after this, it's going to be a typical like February going into spring. Whereas some days it'll be above 0. And some days it'll be just below, and it'll just kind of go up and down that teeter totter.
Yeah.
Right. But for 2 weeks, like in the winter up here, we get but we're not the coldest city in the country either. That belongs to Winnipeg, Manitoba, which can get to -60.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Joe, I would trade for that in a heartbeat. I would trade that in a heartbeat, and you know it.
Yeah.
I've been in the winds. I know what the winds are like, but it's like, it's like, yeah, it's just yeah. I speak from experience. It's just like that's what the weather's like here, right? So our winters, like so you get like it's weird. You after the first couple winters up here, if you are up here for that long, the third winter you don't be like. No, I'm just saying like your definition of cold changes after those first 2 winters because first winter, like you can tell when someone's not from Alberta versus someone from Alberta. Someone from Alberta, it's like -2, -3 degrees Celsius or like 30, 25. Just put a toque on and we're good. Like we don't even wear like that, because it's not cold. Like I cannot explain. Like it's so hard to explain to someone that's never been there.
Anita. Yes. Oh, you guys are definitely better at handling the cold than I am.
Well, it's practice, right? Like I lived in Arizona too. Like when I lived in Arizona, when the winters there would get to like 79 degrees Fahrenheit, that was cold in the winters there because your blood thins out.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's weird depending on where you are, right? Depending on where you are, like cold is a very relative term, right? But I mean, for us, like the minus, right? Yeah.
I'll stick here in the South where we have our tornadoes and stuff. I'll stay put.
Tornadoes suck. I'm not gonna lie. Tornadoes actually suck.
They're not fun, but like, they come and then they're done. Like it's just quick, and versus the cold, it lingers.
Yes,
it makes your joints ache really bad.
So you got like a damp cold when you guys get cold.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Damn colds are the worst. Damn colds are actually.
Oh, I bet hurricanes.
Yeah, hurricanes suck too.
Pass on those. Pass.
Yeah, hurricanes do suck. Right. I'm not gonna lie. So do earthquakes. But I mean, hey.
Yeah, we've had a few of those here.
Yeah.
They haven't been terrible, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird when the earth moves under you like that. It's like that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, I was on the floor. Were we on 4th floor of my dorm building in college when we had wind come through, and the whole building was shaking. I was like, "Holy crap! What do we do?" It was to go to a doorway. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it was crazy. So.
Yeah. So you got 6 stories coming out this year. I got at least So
maybe
far,
more, but that's the main goal is 6.
I have
2 down.
I have 2. One as an editor, one as a writer. So far, both in comics. So, yeah. The edited one I think comes out in April or May, and the it's a Kickstarter. It will be kickstarted, and the other one I'm not sure when that one's out. I wrote it a while ago, and it was a shared universe. It was that person's universe, so I got to play someone else's characters. So it was fun.
Was it with Ron? Was it?
No.
Okay, I was like, I have a story with Ron too, but I don't know when that one's coming out. So
No, Ron. You know what? Ron has never asked me to write anything for him.
So. I can't remember how I got into it. It was like, I think I wrote it like a year and a half ago. I don't know. It's just been hanging out. He's been collecting stories from people very slowly, but he's also had a lot going on. So,
I get that. No, for me, I have a story. Okay, so I wrote a story back in 2020. Like it was a long time ago that I haven't heard back from that publisher in a while. I signed a contract with theirs. Okay.
Yeah.
You probably reviewed this book, probably. Right.
Madi Chronicles or his You Get What You Steal is good too. So.
Yes. I definitely interviewed him, but he's never actually asked me to write anything. Although he is mean reviewing my Alice one, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he reviews that.
Yes.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he reviews that because that book definitely is not a typical one for him. So it's gonna be like he'll probably just make fun of the fact that it's a giant poem.
It would be a good one. Oh, Bob's doing it with him.
Yeah, and not just Bob. There's someone else doing it too. I got hold on a second.
Yeah, they're gonna have some fun stuff to say about it.
Oh, I'll definitely be laughing my ass off when and if I get there. No,
Bob will most likely make a pun for it. Just get ready because it'll happen.
Mel Todd is actually also doing it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome too. So
yeah, so she's doing it as well. I know that. So I know that from experience because I was just looking. It's like, wait, I just sent a copy of the book somewhere too. Yeah, Mel. Yeah, Mel's doing it too. Yeah.
Joe, you got enough like going on in your brain. We don't expect you to keep up with everybody that's on all the shows. Well, no, I can't even keep up with half the people who are on mine anymore. So.
Well, no, so yeah, no. Joe's become this big mogul dude. He's like the mogul of moguls now. So he's like, I'm just gonna call him Media Mogul Compton right now. That's because that's what he is. But that's all good.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like you're doing the plate you want to do, which is really, really good.
I have 2 more conventions officially, like for sure, on the table for this year too. So, one, I have already heard back that I have a panel. The other 2, well, technically, I'm going to also do a vendor booth, hopefully at the next 2 as well. Waiting on that, but I haven't heard anything for Multiverse yet, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm doing When Words Collide as a panelist. I have 2 panels I've confirmed I'm doing. I'm doing a TikTok panel, and I'm doing the freelance mindset, which I've done for an online con. I'm going to do that in person. It's kind of like my gift to Calgary before I disappear.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. It's the last gift. And basically what I said at the beginning, this is a game of belief ultimately at the end of the day. And you gotta believe what you can do it. And so you kind of inspired me. I gotta have at least 2 more of my own books out this year. Somewhere, maybe 3.
I set 6 up for myself because I knew I had some short stories coming out too, and I'm considering them appearing in those anthologies as a book, like that's coming out because it is and surprisingly, the one I did with Adam, actually not surprisingly, I had a good feeling about it. We published Spice and Steam came out November-ish, I think. I don't remember, but it's done really good. I've kind of been impressed with how well it's done. So, and it's got some steamy stuff in it.
So, Joe, on that note, I know for sure it's not disappearing. I can't tell you everything I can tell you on the air, but I know it's not disappearing. However, I'm not saying go to the next show right away either, but we'll that's a conversation we can have off the air. But what I will say is, no, I'm glad you're doing your thing. I'm glad you're taking the chance. You're taking the chance. I don't know if it's going to work out the way you want it to. Like the one thing I learned in this life is that no matter what or where we go or how we get there, it doesn't always look like what we imagine it to look like. But then again, my TikTok right now, I actually posted the Marissa Mayer doppelganger thing. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I haven't yet because I'm so sporadic on TikTok lately. But like
no, it's there. So the first we actually did two. The first time I tried to talk to Marissa, I had all kinds of technical errors on the computer, and one of them, I come back and there's a version of me still on screen on top of like this frozen solid. So it's like me, Marissa Mayer, and my doppelganger. I'm like, what? It was like it's still. I got that 50 seconds of. It was literally the last part. So you can see that 50 seconds of it, right? But I mean, that's my life. And like the best part, like I get to talk to these amazing people like yourself and Joe and Anita and others, and it is. But I never imagined that. It's like that wasn't what I set out to do, but yet that's what happened, and that's an amazing gift. That's an amazing gift, and so what I'm hoping for you is that same kind of thing. Like I don't know if interviewing's way you're gonna. I get the feeling you're gonna go more deeper into creative writing than I did. I think you're gonna go more that way as time goes on because it seems like that's where you're happiest. But
I don't know. Both areas actually are a lot of fun because I really enjoy talking with other creatives, like not just authors, but like because I actually get to sit down and pick a lawyer's brain who works with people in the publishing field, and I was like, oh, this is really there's a lot of really cool stuff, but I enjoy doing that and writing, and like it just kind of I'm flexible with it, but definitely sticking with the writing for sure.
Oh, absolutely, and you like to learn, right? And that's the best thing, right? You get to meet other people, you get to learn all kinds of cool things. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who's been your favorite guest so far?
Oh my gosh, that is a really hard one.
It is. Oh. Okay, so we'll go another way. Not necessarily your favorite guest, but your favorite conversation. Because here's the thing, I'll tell you what, I'll do this for you.
That's a hard one too.
I can answer mine. I've done hundreds of these, and I can actually honestly answer it. At least by year. I think my all-time favorite conversation is still either John Maven or Spider Robinson, right? Those are two of my all-time favorites. John Maven, because we literally went all over the gamut. We started in a really dark place and it ended in a really happy place, and it's all in the same conversation, and I've never forgotten that. Spider Robinson, because it's Spider Robinson. I got in one conversation, I had Spider Robinson telling me a story about him having dinner at the White House, in the same conversation talk about mourning his wife is being lost. My grandmother had started dating a guy, so I was encouraging him maybe to go out there and maybe look for someone else. It is one of my favorite little conversations, and right, and it's the one and probably the one if I had to pick just one, that'd probably be the one I'd be most known for. But I've had so much fun on this, and I enjoy every conversation.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah, it's nice. And that's an answer right there. So you got to have one, Madilynn. What's yours?
I'm trying to think. I know I have a couple of favorites, different things. For character driven, it's a toss up between probably Lily Lucchesi and the one I interviewed earlier, Carolina. For that, with my interviews, oh, that's so hard because I'm trying to think of there's so many people.
if I put a gun to your head and you said, listen to, I put a gun to your head and go, okay, you got one conversation to get me to listen to your show. What would be the one you'd recommend first?
Oh my gosh. Oh, and I'm so bad with names. Like, oh gosh.
Just talk about the
what
episode.
What is his name? He's got his book. It's The Endeavor's Run is his book. And I've actually got to, like, I read both of them too, like his first book and the second book. But this author reached out to me through, was it Mark something? I'm gonna have to look it up. Like, I'm looking it up. But it hit that interview, those interviews, because I did more than one with him. They were a lot of fun. We got to talking about like all the things that went to his book, inspiration and everything. And like his books are really like eerily like almost accurate to like a lot of things that were happening in the world at the time and still are. And it's just like, because that was the thing that got me. He didn't mean for it to be like that, but it ended up like that. And it was just a fascinating conversation. And then turning it into like how these people went into space to find a different planet for us to move to, because basically like everybody nuked the crap out of each other and like killed off the top of the planet. And if the only people that live are people that went down into the earth. So kind of like what you would see in, what is that game? My husband played it for a while.
Last of Us?
No, it was, had a dog they called it dog meat, and I'm just like, I can't think of the game. Fallout? Okay, he's like, Fallout.
Hi, Madilynn.
Down the hall. He's down the hall putting Harrison to sleep, but he yells that. But like, that's all I could think of, like talking, like as we were talking about it, and it just, his books continued on like it was like a prequel, and then actually happening, what was happening on the new planet that they moved to, because Earth was like not inhabitable anymore. So also kind of like what you would see in WALL-E, only WALL-E's the movie, they didn't nuke each other. It was just overly polluted and everything died. So, but yeah, let me look. Yeah. So
I actually one of my ghost written blogs was actually famous robots, and WALL-E was on that list. I put WALL-E on that list actually.
It's such a good movie and sad and cute, and like we watched it with Harrison the other day, and yeah, it was, Tobin Marks. That's his name.
Tobin Marks.
Yeah. And he doesn't publish stuff rapidly like a lot of people do, but it's good. Very sci-fi too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mention that. Like science fiction has sometimes this accidentally, like you accidentally predict the future without meaning to.
Yeah.
So back in the 40s, sci-fi writers would regularly publish the sci-fi magazines. So at least one author came up with the idea of the atomic bomb before anybody else did. The FBI raided the sci-fi place because they actually thought the information was leaked. No, turned out it was just, we have this interesting ability as a species. Sometimes we connect. We are more aware of what's going on, I think, on a subconscious level. I don't know where you are completely in terms of the metaphysical, but I do think there's a connection that we are always on some level aware of the things going on in the world and around the world, right? And it comes out in our art. I think art's an expression of those things, right?
We're channeling it away.
Yeah, we're bringing it out, right? In some form or fashion, these things we're sensing and seeing. I really do believe that. And sometimes also, like, the other interesting phenomena sometimes is a whole bunch of us can tap into the same source material, but do it in different ways at the same time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's actually kind of magical. It's actually kind of magical when you sit there and think about it. So you got a bunch of anthology stuff. You already released Blue Flames. Are you releasing book 3 this year too?
That is the game plan. It's a quarter of the way written. I'm trying to finish. I'm currently in the midst of an editing process for Hooked, which was a Bella story. It's still on Bella, but like I'm doing a lot of like finagling to make the story flow better before I release it as a paperback and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna drop, and then hopefully I will have. I'm not giving I almost told you the name of it. I have not released that yet. Hopefully I'll have book 3, like more info for that. Because I have the cover for it, like not like the paperback, but the ebook cover and the name done and ready to go.
I imagine, see, you had black, you have blue, you're gonna do a color scheme. I'm almost thinking
it's green. Not a color though. I mean, there is color in it, but it starts with an L and it's not a color.
Okay.
And it does have flames in it.
I was gonna say Lavender Haze, but that's a Taylor Swift song. So
yeah, that is a Taylor Swift song.
Yes,
and it is. You're not the first one to think lavender. I mean, what's it? JT Moriarty, my one of my Aussie author friends, that was his guest too, for book 3. It was like, nope.
Lavender Lights. That does fit the theme, though. I'm just saying that way I just said that does fit the theme of what you're doing.
But it actually, there's something happens because Ember's still like coming into her powers even after things that happen in book 2. She hasn't reached her maximum potential yet. She kind of does that in book 3. She kind of has to because a lot of things happen. There's a specific gate that is compromised, and considering she's the only heir when Lucifer is poisoned.
See, I didn't know that. You're spoiling it. Yes.
A little bit. It's a little bit. So
I see, for me, I'm very curious what happens when they actually finally meet, because they have to at some point. And right, because he's around he's around the peripheral. At some point, Daddy's gonna realize he has a little girl.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's hinted that he's gonna, like, he's being told. So yeah, it's his character when you finally, which I've had. So if you've seen the Netflix series Lucifer, like, I've kind of loosely based his character in the book off of him, and I didn't tell anybody that. And one of the bigger readers was like, I totally got this vibe from him as the one in like that. I was like, yes, I did it. I made it work. That's exactly what I was going for. So yeah.
So here, you want to hear an interesting fact about that Lucifer on TV? Like, who he's actually based off of?
Yeah.
So, you know the Sandman series?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That Lucifer, the Lucifer series, I think it was originally based off the Vertigo title for DC, if I'm right about that.
Mm-hmm.
That Lucifer was actually based off the Sandman's Lucifer.
You know, I could kind of see that when they introduced her in that episode. I hadn't read the books when I watched the first season of that, but
because if I'm right, okay, so Sandman, so the comic, this isn't like Vertigo Comics started in the late 80s, and the Sandman was the first big hit. There's the other book that was really popular was Hellblazer. Mm-hmm. So do you remember the Keanu Reeves John Constantine movie? It's based off. That's the other property. That's the other property that was really a big hit. So, obviously, the devil and Lucifer in that series is a very different kind of prick than the Lucifer and Sandman. But the Lucifer and Sandman showed up in the first arc, and then oh, very cool. So in that case, yes, it is. So yes, then I can tell the full origin. So the Lucifer and Sandman shows in the first arc where he goes on this quest to recover all his stolen items that were in him. So the best, I don't know where they're at in the Sandman series, but there's an arc in Sandman where he becomes the ruler of hell. He actually, Lucifer abdicates the throne to Morpheus, and it's not really a huge spoiler, but the thing is, because he's just tired of ruling hell. He's just tired of it, and what the Sandman does with it is incredibly interesting. It's my favorite Sandman story, actually. It's my favorite one because and the devil and Lucifer really isn't in the story very much, but it's interesting to see what happens when you give that kind of thing, and everybody wants hell. Everybody wants it. right? And for different reasons. And I just love the take on Thor and Loki in particular in that particular arc. It's hilarious, especially Thor. Thor is freaking hilarious. He is totally the drunken Viking you imagine Thor is in the myth. Right, so
that's kind of like how he is in mythology too, though.
Yeah, no, he's completely that way in the Sandman story. So that's my favorite one. My other one I really like is World's End, but that one I'm not going to. If you are a Sandman fan, I'm not going to spoil a thing there.
I didn't go back to watching it after I finished that season 1 because I was kind of not impressed. But that doesn't mean I may not read the books.
Sandman, in my opinion, is Gaiman's best work.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not, and it's not that I say this with this caveat. If I hadn't read Ray Bradbury and Charles DeLynn first, I'd probably be a bigger Neil Gaiman fan. I still think he's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just he reads his stuff in the same story trees as those two. They're very similar that way. I think it's brilliant. I don't knock Gaiman at all for it, but I don't enjoy him as much as I enjoy the other two because I read them first. It's kind of one of those things. I think if I had read him first, I'd like him a lot more. He's still good. I don't think he's bad at all, but. And I say this actually because I am reading a comic he's writing right now. Miracle Man from Marvel Comics is what Neil Gaiman is actually writing right now. Oh. So, but that said, Sandman is something incredibly special, and I really dug it. So,
I might have to try to read the books instead of watching listen. I don't know. And for me, I guess that's part of who I am. I'd rather read the book than watch the
Almost always I agree with you. Always I agree with you. So for example, The Boys, the show is actually better than the comic.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm not saying the show is
but I've seen commercials and stuff and things occasionally pop up on my Facebook. So which is weird.
Oh, it's a gnarly show. It's a gnarly show, but so is the comic. The comic's even gnarlier, right? So it's just, but the comic is dated because it's about celebrity in the form of comic book fans and comic book stuff. Whereas The Boys television show it still deals with celebrity, but it deals with it more in a pop culture way. It translates a lot better. So that's I would just tell you straight up that The Boys television show is better than The Boys book. But again, those are exceptions and not necessarily the rule.
Yeah, because that's a very rare thing. So
yeah, and it's actually a credit to the television team because they were very faithful to the concept of the comic. They just modernized it, which I thought was really, really smart.
Yeah.
So yeah. Awesome. That'll say if you don't like gore, I would not recommend that.
No, it didn't bother me. So
yeah. I mean, if you don't like gore, I'm just saying if you don't like it, just no. But no, Miss Madilynn, I kind of wanted to say this because I don't know if you're going to be coming back on this show before it all changes. Yes, they did cast.
So I mean.
Yes, they did. They did cast Carl, and he's a great butcher. He is a fantastic butcher, right? Although, but that all said, this is what I wanted to say to you. I've been counting down some of my favorite people, my favorite guests, and you're definitely one of them. It's amazing to me to see how far you've come so quickly. You're very eager to learn. And I think that's your biggest advantage. You're open and you're trying different things, and you're bold and you're brave, and you should be very proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I wish you nothing but continued success. Thank you for always coming on my show. Thank you for having Harrison hold my show hostage.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if I really could control that, but.
Hey, whatever. It's one of those impressional things. I just wanted to say this here properly now. Because again, I will, I'm sure, meet you in person at some point down the road. But
you better.
But I've learned this too. It's always good to say what you mean to the people you love before and you can. So I say this now. You've been a fantastic guest, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward. And good luck with everything you want to go for.
Thank you. And I appreciate you letting me come on and like chat and hang out and just goof off sometimes, especially like when we did the drink and draw. Like that was fun.
Yes, so, it was.
You're going to be successful traveling and getting to do all the things. So yes.
I solemnly swear I will be up to no good. I solemnly swear.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. All right. So what's coming out next for you, or is it just is what just come out closer to the present?
So I had a short story that I actually had published previously in an anthology. I went ahead and published it separately, just because a lot of people enjoy fairy tale retellings. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go with it, and it is called Freedom. It's a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, where the wolf is the hero rather than the villain. So, but I can't say that much about the granny, because grandma's very not a good one in this one. So, but that was the most recent, because it came after Blue Flames, and my next one I don't have a date for is Hooked, and it is a retelling of Captain Hook. So. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So did you make Hook a notorious villain?
I actually did not, because it's more of like a romance, and the Peter Pan person that's filling that spot is the villain, and it's it's the typical like Hook versus Peter Pan kind of trope, but
it's really easy to make Peter Pan the villain. It is really, really easy to do it. Like, so okay. I'll say this before.
Which technically, the original story of Peter Pan, he was not a nice person.
Oh no, he's a wild boy. Like, I'm not saying Hook was great either. Like, Hook is not a great character in there either. But in terms of who the nastier of the two of them is, that's a debate. That's actually a really interesting debate.
Yeah.
What I will say though, what I was going to say before I take off and disappear, what was I going to say? I lost my thought.
About Hook and Peter Pan being like nasty.
No. There was something. Oh, this is what I was going to say. So here's the thing. When I was a kid, do you remember? So we're going to age myself. Shut up, Clouds. So do you remember Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner?
Yes, because I have an author name who based his pen name off of Wile E. Coyote. So
here's the thing: when you're a kid, you think the Roadrunner's the hero and the Coyote's the villain. When you're no, see,
no, I never saw it like that. So I mean, because if you think about it, the Roadrunner was harassing Wile E. Coyote all the time.
Well, I look. No, he was a dick. I don't know. See, here's the thing: if the Coyote's trying to eat you, I think to some degree that dickiness is warranted, right? Some of it.
That's true. Yeah.
But here's the difference between the two. This is what I realized. It's not that you didn't understand the Roadrunner wanting to get away from the Coyote. It's just you saw how hard the Coyote worked at this. Yes.
Oh, Tweety was, even though
no. Cute. Tweety's a psycho. Tweety is legitimately a psycho, Anita. Like, old school Tweety cartoons are, oh my god, like Tweety's nuts. Like, absolutely, like mass murderer nuts. You would dig it. Finding the old cartoons, you would just like, yeah. But the Roadrunner is a legit dick. Like, that's the thing. Like, the Roadrunner is a legit dick. What I realized
I was never a fan of Tweety either. It's kind of creepy. Tweety was creepy.
I'm actually, considering how murdery you are, Anita, I'm surprised you're not a fan of old school Tweety. Like, old school Tweety is like, I thought would be completely up your alley. New school Tweety, I get, but old, yeah. I was gonna say, but here's the thing. I say it like this, with narratives as a kid, like a Peter Pan, Captain Hook. It's really easy when you're younger, to see Peter Pan as the good guy and Captain Hook as the bad guy. But when you get older, you kind of understand the nuances of the characters. Like, again, Coyote's nuances, he never succeeds, and that's the tragedy. Is as brilliant as he is, he can never quite succeed. I also think he should be suing Acme for malpractice, but that's another story, right? But Coyote worked so hard to do his thing, and just you wanted to see the Coyote succeed, and you wanted to see the Roadrunner get his because he's just such a dick. But again, I somewhat understood it because again, if someone was trying to eat me, I'd be a little bit of a dick to him too. I can't say the Coyote's blameless, but I can say I did feel for him, and I felt for his plight, and it's like, you're the hero of the story, and this is a tragedy. Oh my God, I've gotten sophisticated and I understand storytelling.
Yeah, it's weird when it shifts like that. So, and I kind of take the idea of like how Pan had all of these like wild boys and stuff, but it's different in my story. It's very kind of corrupted in a way.
Well, no, because he has a corrupting. Like, okay, seriously, like if you were to sit there and think about it, here's to never growing up. That sounds wonderful when you first hear it.
Yeah.
But when you actually sit there and think about it, it's like, no, that's actually terrifying. You're never going to change. Oh God.
Yeah. So.
Actually, if you sit there and think about it, Tinkerbell's the real villain, because Tinkerbell's was what makes that possible.
Yeah. Yep. Good old pixie dust.
That's right.
What happens when you get rid of the ability to utilize that pixie dust?
Yeah, exactly. Then suddenly Peter Pan must grow up at some point.
Yeah.
But
and what if the pixie dust was also causing them to lose their mind and fall into insanity?
See that
like an addiction with drugs kind of thing?
Well, no, it's well, I mean, if you sit there and think about it, I mean, it's a really easy.
Stockholm syndrome, Anita. It's not wrong. No, it's very true.
No, it's not. No, it's not totally wrong. No. So is Wendy actually a little bit as well, right? So I mean, yeah, no, Peter Pan's a messed up character, but really. But then again, I'm also writing Alice as an Alice in Wonderland, who's also a messed up character. So, right. But I think we are attracted to these when we're younger because it's like, hey, they don't have it figured out either. Just when you're older, you realize, oh God, they're never going to figure it out.
I just thought it was cool they could fly using pixie dust. If that's the only thing I can recall from like my childhood, why I like to watch Peter Pan. So
when I liked to watch Peter Pan as a kid because I thought the guy who played Hook was awesome, and because he was very good. Hook and the crocodile, I love their relationship. Maybe I shouldn't, but I did. Yeah. Yes.
I like it. The crocodile's in my story as well, but it's different and like it's a fun take, I think, on it.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun with it.
I did, and originally it was supposed to be a story I was going to submit for an anthology CL Cannon was putting together, but it was supposed to. She wanted the YA stories, and I took it a little bit out of YA, so
yeah. So yeah. No, it's really sometimes these things grow unexpected. My Alice was originally for an anthology too.
Yeah.
So look where it went. It went. So how can people find you?
All right, guys. So I can be found on my website. That is the absolute best place to find me. www.thechaptergoddess.com. It's got links to everywhere I'm at, links to my books on your favorite platform. I've got some swag coming up. I've got signed books available that you can order through the website. My blog is there with some great fun articles. Also, you can sign up for my newsletter there, which goes out once a week. And I also do an author spotlight, blogs post spotlight on top of sending a newsletter out during the week. Yeah. You can also find me on Go Indie Now stuff. A lot of shows on YouTube with Go Indie Now. And my interview channel there, The Chapter Goddess, is there as well. So, yeah, that's the best place.
Definitely check it out. And Madilynn is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully all the conversations we've had will take you to why. And for everybody watching and listening, I do advertising for your projects and yourselves. I do words, pictures, audio, video, all that stuff. So definitely check me out if you're interested in advertising your project or yourselves. It's available now. And that will do it. I got one more guest tomorrow, and then next week I actually play Magic live on the air on Monday night. It's going to be kind of a fun one. But for everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I'll see you guys next time.